What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be going over how you can solo Cinderace the Unrivaled in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I have been messing around with pretty much every build that people have come up with, from Armorouge, Espathra, Dodonzo, Iron Moth, and Slowbro, and I've realized some things, and I've been successful with some of these builds very regularly, and then I've been successful with some of these builds situationally. In my mind, if you're going to farm a Pokemon, farm one of these raids, you want to be able to do it consistently and quickly. The ones that I've enjoyed the most were Espathra, which was situational, Slowbro, and Armorouge. Armorouge and Slowbro are definitely the best of the two. And I came up with the Armorouge build, and I messed around with it, and Slowbro seems to do the exact same thing, a little bit differently, and in ways a little bit more effectively. It's important to understand the attack pattern of Cinderace. And it's also important to realize what partners you have with you, because that's going to determine a lot of things. If you have Pokemon like Staraptor or Tauros who have Intimidate, then every time they're knocked out, his attack is going to go down, which is optimal. Drifblim with Will-O-Wisp is fantastic. Sylveon with Charm is very nice. Umbreon with Thunderwave can be helpful. I have at least one of those. Cinderace always starts with a bulk up, and then once his health or timer, I'm not really too sure, is down a certain amount, he's going to then be doing his first shield up and get rid of his debuffs. And then after that, he's going to be getting rid of your buffs. So the first thing you want to do is sustainability. You want to pop 3 Iron Defense, that way you can actually live. During this time, he's going to be doing some moves. Doesn't really matter what they are. If he gets his second bulk up off, you may want to do a Clear Smog, which is then going to reset his attack buffs and his defense buffs. Although we're not attacking him physically, Acrobatics is now doing literally like nothing to me. I'm now at +6 in defense. Now we're going to be going for our Calm Minds. So Calm Mind is going to increase your special attack and your special defense by 1 stage. But the most important part of Calm Mind is that you're now getting 2 stat buffs, and that's going to be helping for stored power, because we already have +6 in defense, and once we have at least 3 of the Calm Minds up, we're then doing work. But if we get all 6 off, you one-shot him guaranteed. This is the reason that I gave Armorouge a Life Orb, because I'm not giving him a Shell Bell, because we're not doing small chips of damage. In fact, we want to just do all of our buffs with as little damage as possible. Watch out for the crits, because the crits can really hurt you. At that point, just throw up a cheer heal up. Oh, I got a really good roll. Okay, there's his shield. I was really hoping to get my attack off before the shield, but it just didn't work out that way this time. I'm gonna go for my 5th Calm Mind, and I'm really racing before he does my debuffs, which I think is at like 60% of the timer. So now I'm fully maxed out. Crap. Yeah, that can happen. And then you just have to do it again, which kinda sucks. You have to do the 3 Iron Defenses again, then you have to do the 6 Calm Minds again. The good news is, once he drops your stats once, he's not gonna do it again. So you don't really need to worry about that. And almost every single time that I ran Armorouge, I fell into this exact same thing, that I'm like literally battling the clock. Especially after he dropped your stats, if you're building it up the second time, you do not want to attack whatsoever. Because once you do, he's gonna get more powerful, more annoying. You're gonna have to spend more time on recovery, and that's not what you wanna do. Also, him being poisoned is probably like the worst status for him to have. Burn is the best, Paralyze is second best. Freeze is good for a short period of time, but that doesn't last because then they just decide to not be frozen. As you can see, now I'm down to about a quarter time, but I have +6 in special attack, +6 in special defense, and +6 in defense. Now I'm gonna do a single attack cheer, Keep in mind that when you're playing solo, you can only do 2 attack cheers, and when you're playing online, you can only do 1. If you do more than 1, it's not gonna do anything. So now we're gonna go for our single stored power here, and this is gonna do a lot of damage. That destroyed his entire shield before he was terastallized. He's gonna remove negative effects from himself. He does it several times. It's just how it is. I'm pretty sure it's when the shield is up and when the shield is down, he's gonna be doing it. Well, now that that's all set, we do our second stored power, and that's the KO. Great. Every time that I ran Armorouge, I was in that exact same situation that I'm getting really, really down on time, but I'm always successful. 12 out of 12 times I have taken down Cinderace with Armorouge doing that exact same thing. By the way, my Armorouge build is full special attack, full defense, the last Eevees are in HP, and then I give him a modest mint to be a special attacker with attack dropped, level 100, obviously. Now, as always, to get yourself another outbreak, you just go to system settings, change the time. I'm on this new thing now that instead of changing the date forward, I change the minute 1 back, just so that, you know, if I encounter random Pokemon on that day or anything else, it still has the appropriate date, because it's messing up my screen recordings. But a build that has worked for me more consistently and faster, which is the important part, is this Slowbro build. So this Slowbro build is the exact same special attack and defense with the last bit in HP. When it comes to defense versus HP, there's a almost negligible improvement of doing defense over HP, like 3% better doing defense over HP. It's up to you if you would rather just throw it all into HP, that way the Pokemon is more versatile for all raids, or if you don't think you're going to be using it for other raids, throw it in defense and then you're effective against half of the raids that are not special attackers. Now, you could also build a Slowbro that's a little bit more supportive. If you gave it Chilling Water, that allows you to reduce Cinderace's physical attack. Psychic Terrain is going to power up other Slowbro's stored powers and other Psychic type Psychic moves. And then if you're running a full supportive Slowbro, give it Yawn, cause why not? I'm running Stored Power, Nasty Plot, Iron Defense, and Slack Off, holding a Life Orb. I'm starting to think that for Cinderace, what he does is, if health is a certain point, or time is a certain point, or a certain amount of turns have passed, oh, we have Staraptor and Tauros. Nice. That's double Intimidate. So now he's gonna start the battle with -2, and then his bulk up, he's still gonna be at -1. This is like optimal. I don't know how or why, but sometimes you end up going into one raid and then your next raid you still have the same partners. If there's any way to preserve that, you want to preserve these two. These two charcoal boys right here. Oh, anyway, as soon as you start off, you want to do 3 iron defenses. Every time that they get knocked out, they just keep intimidating him, and he keeps losing more and more attack. And now that we're +6 in defense, we want to go for 3 nasty plots. You have Slack Off as a move, but don't use it. If you use Slack Off, then that's going to increase your turn count, and you're gonna get closer to that shield depending on who your partners are. This Slowbro strategy is great when it works. And if it doesn't work, then you're in the exact same position you are with Armorouge, and then you have to rebuff. So now Slowbro is +6 special attack, +6 defense. We're gonna do a single attack up cheer for go all out. So now we have +6 special attack, we have +12 stored power, we have 1.5 from that cheer, and now we're gonna do a single stored power, and if we do it right, this is a one-hit KO. That's a one-hit KO. You do one of the slack offs because you're worried about your health. That's gonna increase your turn count, and then on that turn, he may pop the shield, and then the strategy falls apart. If you do exactly 3 iron defense, 3 nasty plot, 1 go all out, stored power, you win. And if you have, your partners with Intimidate, or you have Will-O-Wisp Driftblim, then you're gonna do even better. So now let's talk about some support Pokemon, because the Slowbro is great, but the Slowbro only buffs himself and doesn't even touch the opponent. So because of that, there are other Pokemon that you can use if you're doing online raids if you want to support teammates. Now, in theory, 4 of these exact same Slowbro can just do work, but it would make more sense for you to have more Pokemon that achieve the exact same thing faster. Iron Moth falls into a weird Saboteur attack category that its Acid Spray harshly lowers the special defense stat, and this does work while the shield is up, which is nice because when he puts the shield up, he gets rid of his debuffs. So Acid Spray will still work during the shield. Hurricane, especially if it's raining, then that's going to be 100% accuracy and can confuse. Fire Dance to increase your special attack, and then I just threw Psychic on there because why not? It's super effective. None of these other moves are effective except for Hurricane, but it's only 70% accuracy. If I'm in a situation that someone pops a Rain Dance, Hurricane is great. If not, Psychic is going to be more power more of the time. The way I like to think of it as 90 power, 100% accuracy, that's 900. Hurricane, 110 power, 70 accuracy, that's 770. Psychic is more power more consistently. Armorouge, using that Clear Smog can really help if Cinderace is getting buffs, but if you're using co-op and people are nerfing his stats, then Clear Smog is not a good option. In that case, Psychic Terrain would be really nice for increasing the attack of all Psychic type moves. Espathra, I got it to work. It works like, I'd say 40% of the time. Sometimes you're gonna get in a situation that he's gonna get so many buffs off that he's gonna steamroll you. And then the only thing you could possibly do for that is swapping out Feather Dance, or in addition to Feather Dance, using Baby Doll Eyes, which is priority. It's not that great of an option. Yes, the stored power from the constant buffs and everything is nice, but he's not gonna pop 6 bulk ups before he gets rid of your boosts. So because of that, you can't really rely on Opportunist. Dodonzo is just so dang bulky. And you could do Tickle, which is going to decrease their attack and defense stats, but it doesn't work while shield is up. But it's a non-damaging move, so you could do it off of the bat, and it's going to negate his bulk ups. Chilling Water decreases their attack, and you can do it while the shield is up. Rain Dance, in case there's an Iron Moth, you're going to get that 100% accuracy. And I just didn't replace Order Up. I don't actually plan on using Order Up. And then, while I didn't do the stats or anything, Slowking could also be a good support because you could have Water Pulse for the chance to confuse. You could have Psychic Terrain to increase psychic attacks, Slack Off for recovery, and Reflect to decrease physical move damage for 5 turns. Maybe give this Light Clay so that the Reflect lasts 8 turns, or give it Terrain Extender so that the Psychic Terrain lasts longer. But this is only good if you're in all 4 of you, like 4 out of 4 being real players, no AI. Because if you have an Arboliva there, then you're not going to get off the Psychic Terrain because of Seed Sower. Every time it's hit and knocked out, it's going to be popping up the Grassy Terrain instead of the Psychic Terrain. Grassy Terrain is just going to increase how long it takes for you to do moves because the animation for the recovery eats away at that time meter turn after turn. So Slowking might be a good option for a support Pokemon to support Slowbros. And I also just really like how those two would synergize. So overall, I would say if you're doing random raids online and you're watching this video, grab the Slowking and then also the Slowbro. All the Slowbros can do the job by themselves. They just take a while to get there. Slowking can actually accelerate that and be a little bit more helpful if you're playing with people who don't know what they're doing. Dodonzo can also constantly debuff the opponent, so can Iron Moth. And Iron Moth also has some offensive presence as well, so it's a good all-arounder. Armorouge and then also Ceruledge can both kind of do that. Be mindful of the right time and place to run Clear Smog. Espathra, if you have support, then Espathras could do a lot of work really quickly. Do not think of Espathra as an offensive Pokemon. It's really not. This is a Saboteur. Its job is to use Lumina Crash to... You know what? If I were to go at this again, I wouldn't use Espathra solo. I would use Espathra in a group. I would remove all of its special attack EVs, and I would put them in defense, HP, and then the last one in special attack. I would use Lumina Crash to decrease his special defense, especially while shield is up. Feather Dance is great for lowering his attack 2 stages, and you can learn Psychic Terrain, Espathra is a better support mon, but it's outclassed by Slowking. Unfortunately, your typical support mons like Grimmsnarl and Blissey really fall short here because of Iron Head and the fighting Terra type and stuff like that. Because of that, we're looking into alternatives that we don't normally run. Here's a bunch of Pokemon that could do some work. I'm playing offline, I'm doing solo raids, and after the event is over, New Year's Day, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, you can't go online because those raids are no longer going to be active, so you have to solo offline. And while soloing offline, I think Slowbro is probably going to be your best bet. While being online and playing around with some friends and stuff, Slowking is going to do a great job. I'm inside of Slowking right now. Armorouge is just a fun Pokemon to use. It's also a reliable Pokemon. I should have built Espathra differently. Instead of oh, it's gone. I should have gone for a Saboteur role, not an attacking role. Dodonzo, super bulky, you're never going to die. You have some options here. Iron Moth kind of does a little bit of everything right. The number one reason I don't play online is because people just don't bring good Pokemon. Oh, for the love of Jesus, Moses, Allah, and the almighty powerful flying spaghetti monster, do not bring a Azumarill, Dash Bun, anything that you thought would be a Charizard counter. Fluttermane is not a counter here. All of them die very, very quickly. Do not bring them. Oh, but it has well-baked body. Guess what? It's not going to do well-baked body. It's going to do Iron Head. You're going to die in 1 turn. Good luck on taking down Cinderace. If you do, you're going to get a whole bunch of items for physical builds. Your large candy just keeps growing and growing and growing, and you're able to get more Pokemon up to level 100. So maybe build your Slowbro first, and then mess around with some other alternatives, some other ideas once you have that excessive amount of candy. Because if you're farming this right, you're gonna have to use your candy because you're gonna be at 999 and you're not gonna get any more. So you have to use your candy on Pokemon. These are the Pokemon to use them on. Even if we're not using these exact builds for these raids, they may be useful in the future. They have fantastic moves, abilities. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Felt from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, yeah. I got that champion flow.